Hey, friends, have you ever felt confused about the next step in life? Just like Ardi, a smart young man who feels empty despite having many opportunities. In this story, we'll follow Ardi's inspiring journey to find his life's purpose. Through meeting his father's three friends, each with their own success story, Ardi learns that success isn't about knowing everything, but about focusing on one thing we truly love. Curious to know how his story unfolds, let's dive in till the end. On a bright morning in a village at the foot of a mountain, there was a young man named Ardi. He was intelligent, full of energy, and had many dreams. However, despite his cheerfulness lately, Ardi felt something was missing in his life. Although he had just completed high school with good grades, he felt no burning passion inside him. Ardi didn't know which direction his life should take. He wasn't interested in continuing his education to university, while all his friends were busy applying to their chosen universities. Ardi felt confused about what he should do next. It wasn't a financial issue, as Ardi's family lived quite comfortably. His father, Mr. Satria, owned a large apple orchard with thousands of healthy apple trees. His father also ran a well-known apple juice business in the village. However, even with a comfortable life, Ardi felt an emptiness inside. One morning, while Ardi was sitting under a large apple tree in his yard, lost in thought, Mr. Satria approached him. Mr. Satria knew his son was struggling with confusion, and he wanted to help Ardi find a clearer path in life. "Ardi, are you thinking hard about your future?" Mr. Satria asked gently. Ardi nodded. "Dad, I feel lost. All my friends are busy chasing their dreams at university, while I don't feel like I have a clear goal." Mr. Satria smiled wisely. "I understand how you feel, Ardi. Sometimes, to find the right path, we need to listen to the stories of people who have walked their own journeys with perseverance and patience. I have 3 close friends, and each of them has a different story about how they achieved success. I want you to meet them, listen to their stories, and I'm sure you will find the answers to your confusion." Ardi was curious. "Who are they, Dad? What makes them special?" Mr. Satria smiled and wrote 3 names on a piece of paper: Mr. Arman, Mr. Budi, and Mr. Chandra. Visit them, listen to their stories, and you will find what you've been looking for. But there is one thing you need to know, Ardi. Remember, success isn't just about how much we know, but about how we choose to focus on one thing and pursue it with all our heart. With hopeful feelings, Ardi decided to embark on his journey that day. He rode his beloved horse and set off to visit Mr. Arman, his father's first friend. Ardi's journey was quite long, passing through forests and vast fields. Finally, he arrived at Mr. Arman's house, an elderly man who still looked strong and healthy. Mr. Arman was a farmer who had managed to turn barren land into a fertile field through his hard work. After a warm welcome, Ardi explained the purpose of his visit. He wanted to learn how Mr. Arman had achieved success in his life. Mr. Arman smiled and began to tell his story. "Ardi, I was just an ordinary village boy, just like you. In school, I wasn't the brightest student. In fact, I was always at the bottom of the class rankings. I just liked gardening and farming. But after finishing school, I decided to spend my time in the fields. I started planting various crops and learning how to farm properly. It wasn't easy. I experienced many failures. But I never gave up. Year after year, I learned from my mistakes, and eventually, I was able to turn barren land into fertile soil, and now my crops are in high demand." Ardi listened attentively. "So, Mr. Arman only focused on farming." "That's right, Ardi. I focused only on the land and the plants. I learned one thing and became an expert in that field. Success came through perseverance and patience in dedicating myself to something I loved." Ardi felt inspired by Mr. Armand's story, and he continued his journey to visit his father's second friend, Mr. Budi. Mr. Budi was a successful merchant. His house was grand, and he was known throughout the town as the owner of a bustling store. Ardi arrived at Mr. Budi's house and introduced himself as Mr. Satria's son. After enjoying a cup of tea together, Ardi asked, "Mr. Budi, how did you become successful in business, even though no one thought you would make it?" Mr. Budi chuckled lightly. "Back in school, I wasn't a smart student. I was always at the bottom of the rankings. In fact, during exams, I preferred chatting with my friends rather than studying. However, I knew one thing: I liked trading. Since I was young, I enjoyed selling snacks at the market. At first, I didn't know anything about business, but I learned through experience. I didn't just sell. I learned how to manage money, communicate with customers, and develop products they liked." "So, you focused on small businesses first?" Ardi asked. "That's right, Ardi. I didn't start big. I began with something small and gradually grew it. The key is consistency and adapting to market changes." Ardi felt he was beginning to understand the path he needed to take. He then continued his journey to visit his father's last friend, Mr. Chandra. Mr. Chandra was a highly respected teacher. His home was simple, but filled with books and various teaching materials. Ardi was eager to learn what made Mr. Chandra so successful in the field of education. After chatting for a while, Ardi asked, "Mr. Chandra, what made you such a successful teacher? Is there a secret behind your achievements?" Mr. Chandra smiled wisely. "Like my other friends, I wasn't a smart student in school. My academic grades were average, and I was often in the middle of the rankings. But I loved teaching. Since I was young, I enjoyed sharing knowledge with others. I didn't chase after degrees or positions. I focused on teaching with all my heart and creating a fun learning environment for my students." Mr. Chandra continued, "Success doesn't come from chasing something big, but from focusing on what we love and giving our best." After meeting with his father's 3 friends, Ardi returned home. He felt full of energy and newfound insights. Ardi now understood that success wasn't about having a lot of knowledge in various fields, but about finding one thing we love and dedicating ourselves to it wholeheartedly. Various fields, but about finding one thing we love and dedicating ourselves to it wholeheartedly. The next day, Ardi decided to pursue an education related to agriculture and business, considering his love for nature and managing businesses. He wanted to learn more deeply and become an expert in the field he loved. Ardi realized that what he needed was focus, perseverance, and patience to achieve what he desired. It doesn't matter how much we know, but how deeply we dedicate ourselves to something. Focus on one thing you love, become an expert in that field, and success will follow.